So we have a slight update on Prince Andrew, and so there are conflicting messages here with regards to the Department of Justice and the I think it's the Southern District in California. There is the Southern District of New York, and Prince Andrew and Prince Andrew's legal team. So we've got four members of this party here. We got the Department of Justice, the Southern District of New York, Prince Andrew and Prince Andrew's legal team. So they're all saying different things, I guess. And so the Duke of York's, so this is Prince Andrew, lawyers have rejected claims that the US prosecutors has rejected claims by US prosecutors that he has not cooperated with the inquiry into sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. So for anyone who doesn't know who Jeffrey Epstein is, he's a pedophile who had a giant pedophile, like a pyramid scheme, among other things, a massive rapist, really, really bad human being. And you should, if you don't know a lot about him, watch the documentary on Netflix, which is a really good series, a four-part into who Jeffrey Epstein is. Highly recommend it. In a statement, Prince Andrew's legal team said he offered to help at least on three occasions. So this is Prince Andrew has claimed he's open to helping the US investigators. His legal team have said he offered at least three times. However, lawyers suggested. Here we go. His lawyers suggested that the US Department of Justice was seeking publicity rather than accepting the offer of help. So it's very possible that Andrew's lawyers are claiming that the DOJ are just doing this for optics, like they're trying to look like they're doing something because they failed the victims originally in the 2000s, and so now they want to make it look like they're actually doing something. So the US prosecutors hit back. So Jeffrey Berman, US attorney for the Southern District of New York, these guys are savages. Like, these guys are the ones going after Trump as well. These are absolute monsters. Like, they will gun for you if you're in their jurisdiction and you've done crimes. They will go for you. Said Prince Andrew had yet again sought to falsely portray himself to the public as eager and willing to cooperate with the investigation into sex trafficking by Jeffrey Epstein and his associates. So the Southern District of New York are saying, no, you haven't. You're lying. So, however, he said, the prince has not given an interview to federal authorities, has repeatedly declined our request to schedule such an interview, and nearly 4 months ago informed us unequivocally through the same counsel who issued today's release that he would not come in for such an interview. So, according to the Southern District of New York, Prince Andrew has declined any interviews and said he will not do an interview. And this was a statement given to the Southern District of New York through Prince Andrew's legal team. Okay, so he added, Prince Andrew is in fact serious. If Prince Andrew is serious about cooperating with the ongoing federal investigation, our doors remain open and we await word of when we should expect him. So he's saying, look, you want to help us, we're all ears, come through, we'll listen. The Duke's lawyers declined to comment further, but a source said, here we go with unnamed source and stuff. This is the third time Berman has breached his own confidentiality rules, further diminishing our trust in the DOJ, playing with a straight bat, which is frankly bewildering. So I don't know what other two instances he's talking about, but we can see here that in this case it was Prince Andrew's legal team that drew first blood. So I don't know what this source is claiming, but by keeping yourself anonymous, it protects yourself. So the Duke has stepped away from royal duties because he was widely criticised with his relationship with Epstein, and also he did a really stupid interview with Emily Matlis where she just took him apart. She just went for him, and it was savage. And it wasn't like a Jeremy Paxman or Andrew Neil style savaging. It was very much like, you said this happened on this day, and he's like, yeah, it did. And it's like, so why did this happen? And you say that you knew Epstein had committed crime, so why did you hang out with him? And so he was like, I went there to his house to end the friendship. He's like, why can't you do the phone? He's like, that'd be the dishonorable thing to do. So the dishonorable thing to go to an alleged sex offender to his house to end the friendship. And he was just like, and just like, bro, please just shut up. Please shut up. From the perspective of, I don't like seeing car crashes like that, but at the same time, the more he said, the more you realise this guy has done some very bad things. So the Duke has been heavily criticised from his friendship with Epstein. Shortly after the interview's broadcast, Prince Andrew said he was willing to help any appropriate law enforcement agency with their investigation. So it's very possible for Prince Andrew to say one thing and for his legal team to say another thing, because One is public and the other one's more private. So his statements will be public, but his legal team's statements will be private. And so what that does is that kind of forces the DOJ to come out and say, well, you're saying one thing and the other guy's saying another thing. And then it makes it so Andrew's legal team can come out and say, why are you making this stuff public? This stuff was, I thought we were meant to be talking about this, privately, so why are you making this public for? So you guys can't be trusted. And so that looks like the game that's possibly being played here. So in late January, Mr. Berman claimed the Prince had provided zero cooperation, and in March he said Andrew had completely shut the door on helping the investigators. So here's probably the other two examples that they're talking about. In a statement on Monday, Prince Andrew's legal team said the Duke of York had been on at least 3 occasions this year offered assistance as a witness to the US DOJ. And so here we have the important thing. So he wanted to offer assistance as a witness. But Prince Andrew's the same guy saying he didn't see anything. So how can he be a witness if he didn't see anything? Unless he's going to try and defend Epstein. And so this is where, Prince Andrew, again, in his infinite stupidity and arrogance, is being stupid once again. Because unfortunately, the DOJ has reacted to the first two offers by breaching their own confidentiality rules and claiming that the Duke has offered zero cooperation. So they might not want him as a witness. That's the thing. They might want him as a suspect, and there's a big difference between that, having him say, what happened, compared to saying, what were you involved in? In doing so, they are perhaps seeking publicity rather than accepting the assistance offered. It looks like there's a typo there. Strange. Earlier in the day, it was revealed that the DOJ had made a formal request to speak to the Prince as part of the Epstein inquiry by submitting a mutual legal assistance request to the UK Home Office. That's big. So they're basically saying, we want to speak to him. And I think from what I read in the NBC article, it's the equivalent of a subpoena. Yeah, look, the request made under the Mutual Legal Assistance Treaty, or MLAT, is similar to a subpoena. So a subpoena is basically you have to go and give a statement or whatever. Like, this is mandatory. I think it's illegal to break a subpoena. At least that's what I gather from watching various police cop shows. Under the terms of the MLA, Prince Andrew does not voluntarily respond. He can be called to the UK, so basically this is mandatory. The Duke's lawyers described the request as disappointing because the Duke was not a target of the DOJ investigation, has repeated his willingness to provide a witness statement. So here again you have him saying, I want to give a witness statement, but I don't think that's what they want. They want to get him on criminal charges. And so he's going to try and get immunity, and they don't want to give him immunity because they don't need it. But what they want to do is get him, I think, as a suspect and as a criminal. And so obviously Prince Andrew's legal team can suss that, saying, we'll talk to you as a witness, but nothing else. And so in America, you can plead the Fifth Amendment, which is the right against self-incrimination. And so that's kind of what Prince Andrew is doing here. Like, I'll tell you what I saw, but I won't tell you what I did. And so I don't think they're interested in what he saw, because they can kind of piece it together anyways. It looks like they have a very good idea of what happened. So allegations against Jeffrey Epstein started in 2005 when the parents of a 14-year-old girl told the police in Florida that Epstein had molested his daughter at the Palm Beach house. The financier was accused of paying underage girls to perform sex acts at his Manhattan and Florida mansion between 2002 and 2005. However, a controversial secret plea, which I think was very illegal at the time, he saw him agree to lesser charges of soliciting a minor for prostitution. He received an 18-month sentence, was a joke because he could go in and out of prison. And if you watch the documentary, you'd understand like all of these things, how much of a joke his prison sentence was. So the Duke's lawyers, Claire Montgomery Cusey and Stephen Ferguson, said they had previously chosen not to make any comment about their dealings with the DOJ, but had now released a clarifying statement in the view of misleading media briefings. So here you can see the war of optics here of, Andrew's lawyer saying, look, our guy wants to cooperate, as a witness, and, he's trying to cooperate, you guys are lying, and you got the DOJ and the Southern District of New York saying, look, your boy's not cooperating, look, we tried to get him to give a statement and all this stuff, he's not listening, so we had to give a subpoena. And so there's some analysis here from Johnny Diamond. What is that how you pronounce diamond? So wronged, that's the word that sums up the statement from Prince Andrew's lawyers. So look, they're claiming one thing, and the DOJ did admit that the leak was not something they usually do, and that they'll probably be looking into who leaked the information. So lawyers had the DOJ when it said that Prince Andrew was not and never has been a target for the investigation, and then a well-placed leak told the world that the US was trying to drag the Duke to court. So I don't know why the DOJ are doing this, saying, look, maybe this is just to read in Prince Andrew because they realise the guy's an imbecile, to say that, look, we just want him as a witness, nothing else, and then they want to get him, essentially, because once he goes to the US, it's going to be very hard to get him back out. and so that's why he'll never leave the UK unless he's forced to. And so whoever leaked this at the DOJ is a prick. In the cool language of lawyers, they are mightily upset on behalf of their client. Perhaps they ask the department is seeking publicity rather than the assistance. And so look, what we can see is the DOJ apparently misled Andrew's lawyers about what purposes they needed him to, what they needed him for. Essentially, he wants to be a witness, but obviously they want him to be they want to get him as a suspect, because that would make a lot of their guys' careers. But at the same time, like the Southern District of New York, they're the ones that actually got Epstein properly on charges where it led to him allegedly committing suicide. And so look. That seems to be the case, that the Southern District of New York are not to be messed with. I'm struggling to pronounce the name. That's how scary they are to me. The Prince's lawyers added the first time the US authorities requested the Duke's help was on January 2nd. They advised that Duke is not and never has been a target of their criminal investigation, which is just a lie, because he was alleged to had sex with Virginia Roberts, who was 17, and so look, she's for some reason here they call her Virginia by her last name, but then in America I think they refer to her with her middle name for some reason. And so this is a picture with them two together. In the thumbnail you can see that, and also at the same time there was a witness. If you watch the documentary, I know I'm plugging Netflix a lot here, and I wish they were paying me for this, but if you watch the fourth parter, you can see the guy who did the telecoms on Epstein's private island. He said he saw Virginia Roberts and Prince Andrew together, and so they have a witness who saw them. And so you can tell that if Andrew goes over there, he's going to be in big trouble. There's going to be a lot of guys there in big trouble, and so yeah, it's not looking good for him at the moment. And so I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.